Berry Montessori students. As you know, my name is Ms.Mary Lou, and today is Art Day. It's also Earth Day today. So please be sure to send in your emails and tell us how you and your family celebrated the 50th anniversary of Earth Day, which is today as well. I want to start by doing a little bit of a quiz. I haven't had space on my phone to do quizzes, so now I've moved to another form of recording, so hopefully I have enough space to ask you about your quiz this week. So last week we talked about our Artist of the Month, and I'm just wondering how many of you remember his name? What is the name of our Artist of the Month for this month? Did you say Gustav Klimt? You're right. Also, what did Gustav Klimt's father do? What did he work as that influenced his paintings? He was a what? He was a gold engraver, right. So also his mother was a musician. And then we talked about last week how Gustav Klimt had a very special group of artists that he belonged to. Do any of you remember what the name of that group was called? What was the name of the group that Gustav Klimt belonged to? It was called the Vienna Succession. Also, how many of you remember from that group the style of art that Gustav Klimt and those artists became famous for? Do you remember what the style of art was called? Art Nouveau, right. So, so today we are going to be talking, of course, about Gustav Klimt again. And there he is again with his kitty cat. So I'm going to set him aside. We all know who Gustav Klimt is now. And the piece that we're going to be working on today is called The Kiss. It's one of the most duplicated pictures ever. It's very, very famous. You'll see it on stationery. You'll see it out and about when you're shopping with mommy and daddy. Once we get back to shopping, that is. And you'll see lots of pictures of it online on different things. It's on shirts and posters and stationery. You'll see it everywhere. This piece for today, you are going to need lots of supplies. You may need to take some time before you do this piece. Take some time and gather up all of the things you're going to need, because there's a few things. So we're going to need colored pencils. We're going to need different types of paper. There's different colors that you're going to need. I'll walk you through those. You're going to need gems and buttons in 2 different colors, and I'll go over those as well. The paper snippings for this one are black and gray, tin foil and brown. You could even use paper bag if you wanted to for the brown. So there's lots of different those ones in here. And then the gems for this side, you're going to need gold and black, and that's it. You can also use gold or black buttons as well. And then in this one, I have pink, red, orange, and yellow snippets, little small ones. And for this one, you can have them either as a snippet, like a rectangular piece, or round. Round is preferred, but if the children are snipping and they're preparing this, they can make them rectangular shape too. And then we're going to need buttons, and the buttons for this side are red, pink, purple, and some green, and they can be gems or buttons for that side. We're also going to need some glue and some scissors to cut our snippets with. We're going to need some paint. We're only going to need a few colors. We only need black and gold, or if you don't have gold, you can mix together yellow and brown. I'll show you how to do that. We'll make gold with that. You're also going to need your paint brushes, of course. These are just little number 4s. I've got a flat and a round here. More detailed brush is better for the children, a smaller one. Or they can also use Q-tips because they're very easy for them to maneuver. Again, our cup with a little pump of soap in it. And you're going to need some sparkles, preferably gold for this project. But if you have any other colors at home, they will work just fine too. Okay, let me tell you about our piece. So a little bit about the piece is that The Kiss was originally an oil on canvas painting, and it used real gold leaf and platinum in the original painting. Gustav Klimt took an entire year to paint this picture. He did the picture in 1907, and it took him until 1908 to finish the picture. A really cool thing about this picture is that it was bought and sold before it was finished. So it's hanging in the Belvedere Museum in Austria, and it was purchased by that museum, and it's not finished. The artist never got to finish it. So that's an interesting little tidbit for that. Gustav Klimt painted this picture during his golden period. We've talked about periods of painting with the children before. In January, we talked about how Pablo Picasso had a rose period and he had a blue period. Well, this period of painting for Gustav Klimt was called his golden period. So, like I said, Gustav Klimt sold this painting to the Belvedere Museum in Austria before it was finished. He sold the painting for 25,000 crowns. Now, in that day, that was a lot of money because the highest amount that was paid for a painting in those days was 500 crowns. So he made 25,000 crowns for his picture of the kiss. In today's money, in today's dollars, that would be about $240,000 for this painting. So that would be enough to almost buy a house just from this one painting. Okay, so let's get started. This is the national treasure of Austria, and today we are going to recreate our treasure for our home. To break down this painting, I'm going to break it down into 3 parts. 1 is the people, 2 is the shapes, and 3 is the background. So I'm going to start with the faces, and I'm going to show you how to shade this in. The CASA 1 and CASA 2 children will probably need help with this. I'm starting with yellow. I'm going to find just the female form for now. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So we're going to start with yellow. If you have a flesh tone pencil crayon or crayon at home, you can use that instead. So I'm going to start with some yellow. Next, I'm going to move to orange. And boys and girls in CASA 3, you'll probably be able to do this independently. Remember that this shading is exactly like how we do our metal inset shading. It's very gentle. There's no harsh lines. It's just gentle shading to get our skin color. I've chosen this, the more close-up template for this one, just so that you can see it a bit better. Okay, and the third color for the female form is pink. So we'll add some pink, and now you can start to see the female form a little bit better here. Just very little. And then when you come up to her face, you're going to use a little bit more pressure to make those cheeks of hers. And then a little bit for the lips as well. Okay, next we're going to move on to the male form. So we're just doing his face and arms too. So he's got a hand that's right here. Start with yellow. And his other hand is here. This is his thumb. Okay, now we're going to do his face. And his neck. Okay, and I move to the orange. Just a little bit of orange for him, not very much. Okay. And lastly for him is brown, because his skin tone is a little bit darker. Okay, so mom and dad, you may have to do this portion of it for them. You could very well leave it white. It would be fine to leave it white. It's very striking actually in white. We've done that before. Left it white. Last year actually when we did this exact piece, we did leave it white. So, but it's lovely if it is colored in, if you've got the time to do it for them. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to move on to the hair. So let's start with the female's hair. She has some little flowers in her hair. This is very fine work. So choose what flowers you would like to do blue. There's some blue flowers through here. Okay, just gonna move around and do some of these flowers blue. And her hair is orange. So we're gonna do that, do her hair all in orange. Go around all those flowers. It's very detailed work. The boys and girls, you may need to take, boys and girls, you might need to take a break. This is hair right here as well. So you may need to take a break when you're doing this. You might want to take a, do just the shading part and then take a little break. Okay. And then in the male, he's got leaves in his hair, kind of like a little crown of ivy. Okay, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to move us to our other piece. His hair will be black as well. I did not have I didn't have a Sharpie marker like I thought I did, so I actually painted mine in. So this is the other template. This is the full-on template. And again, his hair's done in on this one. Okay, so we're going to start by isolating the picture. So we're done. Number 1 was the people, so we're done the people. Number 2 are the shapes. So in this picture, you're going to see rectangles and circles. On the male side of the form, we're going to be filling in all the rectangles. So have the children snip their paper into rectangles, little rectangles, and then we're going to be gluing them on. And again, the colors for the male side are the gold, yellow, brown, and the silver. And the silver can be the foil. When you start doing when you start gluing these on, so I'm just going to back up one, it's really easy for the children if you block out a piece. So if we're only doing the male side and we're looking for rectangles, we're going to flood just the male side. So I call this flooding, where you outline the form. And let's say we're just going to do this. Maybe we'll do just this little piece. Down to here, and get his arm, and down to here. Okay, good. So that helps the children to know that that's the area that they are going to be working in. So let's say that we start filling in pieces in here, and so on. And make sure the pieces are up and down on the male side. The one piece that's very characteristic in this painting is this one black piece right here. So this rectangle right here should be black. So I'll fill that one in. And then you'll see that in this picture there's only 2 spaces where there's any round, curvy, curly spots. So in those are the areas where you're going to use your black and your gold gems. So this area has some round pieces in it, and here's a button that's round. You can use pony beads as well. They're round. I'll show those to you in a little minute. So this area is round, and this area has some round in it as well. Not to worry about the extra glue. So once they have this all filled in, then you're going to take your sparkles, and in between where these pieces, I'm sure you'll have more of them on here, of course. It'll be nice and full with pieces of paper. It's a beautiful collage when it's done. Then you're going to take where that wet glue is in between, and you're going to gild it. Okay? With your sparkles. And dump the sparkles off. Great. And then we have that in between. Okay, so now that form is all done. And you'll notice when this is done too, because the pieces are square, it may not have come all the way up to the top. This piece of paper ends here and ends here. So that's where you're gonna take your paintbrush, and you can fill in those pieces all in here and here, so that the whole form is filled. And again, anywhere where there was excess glue, I just filled it in with the gold. So that's the male form, all rectangles. Now we're going to move to the female form, which is all circles. I'm just going to move my wet piece. Okay, so the female form that's all circles, you can also use the pieces of paper for this. So our paper for this one is, we have some yellow, pink, orange, and a little bit of red. If you have a hole punch at home, the children could hole punch to make little circles. They can cut out little circles too in those colors if they'd like. Okay, and the buttons for this one, we have red, purple, and pink. And then we have some little gems that are green that we're going to use to fill in with too. So go about it in the same way, same thing. And notice in this one, the characteristic pieces in this one are, there's some red in the picture here on her sleeve of her dress. There's some little red flowers. So we want to make sure that when we move to our piece that we find a red piece for there. Okay, so this is red. And work your way through. The same thing goes for, there's a blue piece at the bottom there and another area where there's more pink. Let the children fill that in. Ask them to go on a little scavenger hunt through the main picture, and then they can fill it in accordingly. So the circles are on the female side. So you can fill them all in, and again, same thing, use the glue to help you out with the excess glue. Sorry, use the sparkles to help you out with the excess glue. So you get your pieces on. There's my little piece that we didn't do. Okay, so maybe we'll use a little piece of orange paper in here. And again, it could be round. And then we'll put our gems in here. This is a really beautiful piece to watch the children doing because they're so creative with it. If you block off a little space and with the glue and then let them go crazy with it, the piece turns out really lovely. And same thing, shake off the glue and then let that dry. Okay, also I wanted to show you that you could easily do this piece. You could just color it or just paint it if you'd like to, but you may need to enlarge it for the children or use the larger template to do that because this is very small detailed work. This is work that the older siblings might have some fun doing, or even mom and dad might have some fun doing this if you were just painting it or coloring it. But it's a little bit too detailed for the younger CASA children to do, but it could be used as a coloring page as well. I just wanted to show you that. Okay. So, and here is the other piece, the more close-up one, and the face is all colored. This is the basic. Now this one, we're done. The piece is all done. So now we're on to step 3. So we have the people, number 1. We have the shapes, the rectangles, and the circles, all done. And now we're going to do the background. So this is where the paint comes in. So if the children only have if you don't have a paintbrush at home and you have Q-tips, this is amazing for doing around there. It's nice and easy, and the kids can paint with that. If you have paintbrushes, it'll be quicker. So you paint all around the whole outside of it. If you need to mix your gold up, you take a little bit of the yellow, mix it with your brown, just a little bit of brown, take a little bit more yellow, a little scoop there. Okay, and then we just go all the way around. You get the idea, all the way out to the edges. Same thing over here. Okay, until you get it all the background done. This is a really beautiful little collage, and it's really nice in a shadow box frame when it's done. And it does take quite a while to do. The children will be at this for at least an hour, and like I said, they may need to take breaks. Do one half and then the other half, however you need to do it. Okay, so that would be our finished piece. And this is your special project if you'd like to try it out. I did a planter for you to try. So I'm going to take the plant out so I can show it to you a little bit easier. All right, so this is just a galvanized pail from the dollar store, if you can believe it. So it's just a plain silver galvanized pail. What I did was I took the picture. I used the long form picture like this one. And this one I actually printed out, but the long form picture will fit on this. So you can do it, just cut it out all the way around it. Let me just show you what I mean. Sorry friends, just a minute. Okay, so if you were going to use this one, you would cut out this. Instead of painting the background, you would cut out all the way around it, the two forms, just cut them out. And then you can just glue it on here, lay it down, and start. So it's done exactly the same way, only for this one, I've used some pony beads because I have daughters that love these in their hair. So I used some pony beads for this, for the circle side. And again, same thing for this side. I used the black and yellow, gray, silver, and brown on this side and gilded it. And over here on the female side, I used the little pony beads. I also thought that for some of you, not that I suggest using food for art, especially at this time, but if you have Cheerios at home, they work great too. So I've got pony beads in here to find all those colors, and then I filled it in with those. When you get to the end and they dry like that normal natural color that they are, it takes overnight for them to dry. So the next day you can have the kids paint them in so that they're not, I mean, you can leave it organically, that nice neutral color if you prefer that. But I think because the piece is so colorful, I think painting them in looks a little better. Once you get both sides done, then you can trace around the edge of it and add more of the gold if you like, or you could paint around it if you wanted to. But that's a little added on project for you if you'd like to take that on. And you can have a little planter. Perfect. So please don't forget to send in your photos of your masterpieces to berrymontessori580 at gmail.com. I love seeing all of your creations, and I'm really thrilled to hear that mums and dads are enjoying the art, and so are the siblings. Until next week when I see you for our last piece from Gustav Klimt, take care and bye for now. Keep safe.